All right, the mystery continues regarding these mysterious drones that are now being seen not over just New Jersey, but New York. They're being seen in places in Pennsylvania. And there is, as time goes on, it just gets more and more mysterious. There has now been a prompt for federal investigation. The mayors of New Jersey and New York have sought the FBI for answers, and they're getting nothing. Again, getting more and more bizarre. One of these governors claims that he was told that when aircraft approach these drones, that they go dark. Their lights go off. There's been reports of people saying that their clocks stopped on the ground, their watches, their clocks, their devices on their walls. There's a new report indicates that over 50 of these drones came in from the ocean, and at least a dozen of them trailed a Coast Guard ship. So what in the world is going on? We're going to cover all this, and we've got a whole panel that we're going to bring in from some videos that we're going to do some screen shares with you, reaction videos, and we're going to dig deep into this, and and we're going to let you draw your conclusion from this. So let's go.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, what's going on, guys? It is Wednesday, December 11th. This is End Time Headlines, and I'm your host, Ricky Scaparo, the founder and the voice of End Time Headlines. We want to welcome you to the program. If you're new, just joining us, let us know in the comment section below where you're joining in from, and this is your first time, so that way we can acknowledge you. And while you're at it, and everybody else that's our regular viewers, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button. That's going to help us get eyes on this program and on our ministry. Take it a step further, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And guys, if you do not have our free app, go ahead and pick it up today. You can pick it up at your app store, Apple, Android, wherever you get your apps from. Just type in End Time Headlines. Look for our free ETH app. Download today. Hit yes to push notifications, and you're going to be good to go. So as we said at the top of the introduction of this podcast today, this mystery of these unidentified mysterious drones, the plot just thickens. We're not getting any more clarity than we did when this first started. Let's go right into this. Mystery drones spotted over New York, New Jersey, and we know Philadelphia as well, have prompt calls for, quote, federal investigation. Residents of Staten Island, New York, and New Jersey have reported an ongoing wave sightings of unidentified drones in the night sky, raising concerns among local politicians who are now urging federal agencies to provide answers and impose flight restrictions. The New York Post reported that the strange drone phenomenon, which caught the attention of New Jersey residents since November 18th, so this has been going on almost a full month, has now expanded its reach to Staten Island, New York. Eyewitnesses have reported spotting bright light-bearing drones hovering over the island on Thursday night, according to the Staten Island Advance.
Mysterious drones spotted in the New Jersey night sky, prompting an FBI investigation. Residents in Morris County have been recording the large drones which appear in the sky at night. They say it started in mid-November. So joining me now is Mayor Sam Morris, and Mine Hill Township is experiencing some of this activity. Mayor, thank you, first of all, for your time. You've seen these drones. Before we talk about the theories on the source of them, kind of just describe what you've experienced.
Been hearing about them, but last Tuesday night, a resident in town, one of my neighbors on my block, said that there were 8 overhead over our elementary school and municipal complex, which are, on the same block. So I got in my car and I rode around here. And by the time I got around here, which is only about a half-mile ride, the drones had all moved east over the town of Dover, New Jersey, kind of in between us. There's a large county park, and they were everywhere. I have a video of it was 4 with a kind of a stationary drone. What it appeared to us was there was one drone that was just stationary, and 4 were going back and forth in a scanning pattern. I'm a little older, so I would look like Pong from back in the day, right? Back, forth, and they went over the town of Dover. I went down into Dover to see a better look, get some more pictures, and they moved east again. And that was my own personal observation. I have residents reporting, last night some residents reported that there were, over various times of the evening, they were watching, and there were 12 over our lake. And they can't get pictures because they come out really grainy, and they're still like little dots on cell phones. I'm hoping some folks with some really good equipment can get out there. I know there's a fellow in town who has infrared night equipment who's going out tonight looking. He's going to try to see if he can get. But it's very disconcerting.
What do you think is going on, Mayor? What do you think this is?
Well, to be intentionally a little inflammatory, the state of New Jersey has been invaded by drones. The question and the problem and the nervousness is by who? Because they are everywhere. There are hundreds of these things. I have friends.
Now, keep in mind, this is coming from the governor making this statement. He said there's hundreds of them.
Down the state, they're reporting down at the Jersey Shore, in southern counties, Cape May, all the way up into Sussex County. The length of the state, they're reporting that there are drones everywhere. And
by the way, guys, these are not commercial drones. These are not drones that you go and you pick up at Best Buy or your electronics store. You can order on Amazon. These drones are the size of small SUVs. These are not easily purchased. That's what deepens the mystery on it.
Range from that it's a military exercise because President Trump flies in and out of New Jersey and has property here, to they're organized clubs who are just putting them up in the air. But the activity of the drones, the methodical scanning back and forth, it gives a lot of people pause because they're not really sure what that's about. Right. There are people who say they're geo tracking or something. I forget what the word is. Scanning, almost like a Google Earth, but a night thing. But it's all crazy speculation in the fact that no one's provided answers.
Right. So we know that it's prompted some FBI investigations, or at least word of them. What do you think happens next, Mayor?
What I hope happens next is this is how I see it, and I'm not speaking for any of the other mayors that have been on the letters that have been presented. I'm just going to speak for myself. Either or, they either need to tell us or trusted people around us, like county sheriffs, who can reassure us that they know what it is and they are comfortable with what it is, and that we all know there are things that the government can't tell us for security reasons, or they need to go find out.
Right.
They need to, one of the phrases I've been using is they need to follow a drone home. These drones only have limited battery life, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, a military drone.
I apologize. We are out of time, but we know, there is a push right now to get some answers because a lot of people, certainly in that area, have a lot of questions.
All right, now this is a dialogue between Glenn Beck and his co-host Stu on the Glenn Beck program about this. Let's check this out.
Let me just start with the drone sightings here for a second, because I don't know what's happening. And, the Department of Homeland Security is Mayorkas. Does anybody think he has any credibility whatsoever? He's like, well, I don't know what's going on. Well, you didn't know what was going on the border either.
True.
The state police of New Jersey, the FBI, and I don't know who to believe. I don't know if you can believe, but apparently everyone is saying they don't know what's happening. And there are these drones that are now flying in formation, et cetera, and they were flying over the Bedminster golf course. That's Trump's golf course. They've been flying over Air Force bases, et cetera. We have a clip from New Jersey News. Listen to this.
The FAA has placed a temporary restriction on drone flights over Picatinny Arsenal and over Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. When these drones were first spotted 2 weeks ago, the Morris County Prosecutor's Office said that they posed no known threat to public safety. But people want to know, what the heck are they and what are they doing? It's normal to see red and green lights in December, unless they're coming from mysterious drones in the night sky.
All right, let's fast forward this, because we've heard this so many times. So we get right here.
I mean, that could very well be, surveillance on the average American because maybe they're doing police work or whatever. It could be our government doing it. It should not be, but we do have, like at the border, we do have drones that are up in the sky. These are very large.
Right.
Some of them are very large. Those aren't cheap. And the very large ones are not something I don't think the average person can purchase, can they? The really large ones?
I mean, you might be able to purchase them. I know that there is a size requirement for registering them.
Yes.
And of course, now we know that not everyone follows those rules. Right. But like when you have the size is pretty small to not register them.
Right.
So those are way over the limit.
And they have the red and green lights, and I don't remember which one means right and left or whatever. But they have the red and green lights on each side. I don't think the ETs are like, you know what, we should follow the standard of putting the red and green lights on each side so they know.
Why do people think they're aliens? Is that
some people think that this might be some alien thing? I don't.
No,
I think this is. I think this is most likely our government. Second most likely, this is a China balloon. Not an actual balloon, but a drone. This is just another thing that, Biden knows about, but we can't do anything about it anyway. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it could theoretically, you think of like an incoming president who spends a lot of time at one of these areas, like maybe they're doing some sort of security setup, but I mean, they would just tell us, right? If that was true. You'd think they'd be like, hey, by the way, this is the federal government doing these things. This is why we're doing it. So I don't know.
I mean, I was just at Mar-a-Lago with the president. There were no drones that I saw or anybody was talking about. I mean, they're pretty good at security, and they would just say, this is closed airspace. You would know immediately when they say that, they're closing the airspace. If it's flying over that airspace, then it's obviously hostile.
Right.
Or ours.
Yeah, I mean, you would. I can't imagine. I could be wrong on this. Of course, we've seen some incompetent moments over the past few years, but I can't imagine if you had hours of hovering over a property owned by the incoming president that this wouldn't be noticed and wouldn't be something that they were dealing with if it wasn't the U.S. government, right? Like that's why that seems like to me the most likely explanation. That it is something that we're doing for whatever reason. You could say nefarious or positive.
Right. That's the big question. What are they doing?
But they wouldn't just let... Again, they let a guy just get on the roof in the middle of a rally. So,
right,
maybe they would just let... But it seems like they would stop this if they didn't want those things.
Have you seen the drone fleets in China?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, have you seen... You've obviously seen like the drone shows, the ones that are cool and like for your entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, you realize with nefarious ideas, you could do lots of damage with just those.
The Chinese military
Armies.
Drones that are in these gigantic fields and thousands of them are flying in formation. I'm telling you, you watch. God forbid we get into World War III.
Oh.
Our aircraft carriers are going to be the horses of World War I.
Yeah.
They're just going to be mowed down.
I was watching a documentary.
All right, check this out. Mystery New Jersey drones, quote, go dark when spotted. This is according to the governor. All right, let's read a little bit of this. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said The recent drones, which have been sighted in the state, are, quote, very sophisticated, and, quote, the minute you get your eyes on them, they go dark. In a Monday press conference, Murphy acknowledged public frustration about the recent surge of these mysterious drone sightings, but emphasized that authorities have found no evidence of a threat no threat to public safety. The most important point to say is, quote, we don't see any concern for public safety. They keep reiterating this. And he goes on, and he goes, Murphy disclosed that there were 49 reported sightings on Sunday alone, predominantly in Hunterdon County, and though he noted some reports might overlap, that, quote, these are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated, and the minute you get your eyes on them, they go dark.
More than a dozen mayors in the Garden State are calling for an investigation into the growing number of reports of nighttime flights by drones.
So we're talking about over a dozen mayors now.
They want to know who's flying them and why. Here's New Jersey reporter Tony Yates.
I saw them fly over my house. I didn't get as good a view as it was one of those, oh my gosh, everybody run outside.
It's the not knowing who owns them and why are they flying them, sometimes as low as the treetops, that has people worried.
It would be very difficult for a small business or even a medium-sized business to have the ability to pilot a large group of these and be this systematic over a long period of time, which leads you to either a large firm or possibly the government.
Mayor Morello joined 20 other mayors signing a letter to Governor Murphy saying it's time for an investigation. Drones flying at night in formation. One report says when an official aircraft approached one set one night, the lights on the drones went dark. And last night, 49 additional sightings were reported, including 20 in Hunterdon County.
I was on with the White House and Homeland Security leadership literally at the very top yesterday for pretty much all day. I'm hoping we'll get answers sooner than later.
The Morris County mayors are asking for a full investigation to determine their origin, purpose, if they are in compliance with regulations, clear communication to local officials, law enforcement, and residents on the findings of that investigation, and they want measures put in place to prevent unauthorized or unsafe drone operations in Morris County.
It's difficult to kind of wrap your head around. They're no threat, but we don't know what they're there for or who's piloting.
The FBI, Homeland Security, and state police are asking anyone with any information about the drones or if you've seen the drones to contact them at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Now, how ridiculous is that? The FBI is asking for people to give them information on what these are. Are you serious right now? This is ridiculous, guys. Unbelievable. So, again, we've got a couple more videos, and then we're going to do an assessment at the end of this. All right, check this out. Here's another video.
Drones have been hovering over New Jersey, and no one appears. Drones have been hovering over New Jersey, and no one appears to know why or what's going on there. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy sharing that dozens of drone sightings were called in on Sunday night alone. However, many of the reports are believed to be of the same object. Some of those sightings stretching into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, even. Joining me now, I have Bill Spadia, Republican New Jersey gubernatorial candidate and Morning Drive talk show host on 101.5 FM. Bill, thanks for hopping on the show. I mean, Governor Murphy saying that the other night there were 49 reported sightings. I mean, Bill, that's nuts.
Well, Marky, it's been going on now for almost a month. I mean, we first heard about it back on the 16th of November. A friend of mine, Mark Taylor, he's the mayor of Florham Park in Morris County, and he called the show and he said, Bill, you got to tell me about these drones. I'm seeing drones everywhere. I've called the FAA, I've called the police, and no one seems to know what's going on. So I thought it sounded crazy to me. I dismissed it, to be honest, but here we are. Hundreds and hundreds of sightings. My inbox is flooded with videos from across the state. You know, I've got the largest audience in the state, and I can tell you that you know, we're getting tons of input. No one seems to know, but everyone is speculating. This morning, I heard the latest speculation was it could be a new design of flying cars. That was from a retired Air Force general. I don't know. We put the disclaimer out there. We're like, please do not take any action, because there are a lot of people that are really concerned. And part of the problem is, Marky, that the governor has now done 2 statements, 1 press conference, and said literally nothing. He doesn't know anything.
Tell me more about the mood, because you have the most listened to radio show in New Jersey. So I imagine your lines and listeners must be sounding off. What is the mood, though? Is it people are nervous, people are scared, or is it kind of like, hey, this is kind of a cool unsolved mystery? What's the mood?
It's a mix of both, Marky. And the truth is, the longer we go, I would say if you go back about a week and a half, we were making jokes. We were talking about aliens and little green men and, who knows, maybe this is the flying cars. But the reality is now we're into the third week, and I think the governor has actually made it worse. He had not made a statement for almost 2 weeks. And then last week I asked my listeners, said, here's the governor's phone number. You got to start calling him and saying, what's up? You've got to know something. We've got major military installations here. We've got plenty of sensitive places that it is concerning when you've got these literal UFOs flying every single night. And Marky, they're huge. These are not like your
look at this video.
6 feet across in some cases.
This is crazy.
The mood is more concerned now than before. But what I've said is that if this is something nefarious, then we should be even more concerned that the FBI, Homeland Security don't know what it is.
Right.
My guess is the logical explanation, it's our military, and we're on a need-to-know basis, and right now they've decided we don't need to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in one more panel of people here. This one is a very interesting conversation, and then we're going to get to some other headlines, and then I'll give my final assessment on this, what I believe this is. So let's watch this real quick.
SUV-sized drones in New Jersey. Dozens of reports seen near military bases, armories, civilian areas, over people's houses, properties owned by President-elect Trump. The FBI says they've been investigating it for a month. A month? But many,
Right.
like my next guests, say the response has been tepid. What could they be, and how is this so hard to figure out? Joining us now is New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick and former defense and intel official who investigated UFOs for the federal government, Luis Elizondo. Thank you for having both of you here. I appreciate it. Senator, let me ask you, what do you make of how your requests to satisfy people's curiosity have been met by other officials?
Not very well. Either the government doesn't know anything, or the government is in a position where it's an embarrassment to the people of the state of New Jersey, because people already come to the table with distrust of government. This adds to distrust. And I'm deeply concerned that people are going to come up with conspiracy theories. You see them on the internet all the time. So this doubled down, and it double downs on the people who make up theories and also don't trust government. So it has a double whammy on government.
Have they told you anything, Senator, about what to say or what to think?
The only thing I heard is Governor Murphy did a press conference while he was signing another bill, and he indicated he wasn't concerned with the safety of residents. But the residents I represent are deeply concerned that they need a lot more information than a blanket statement that it's still safe out there. That's simply not enough. We're going to have a briefing tomorrow in Trenton, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Well, you got a platform here to tell the country what you're finding out and what you're not finding out whenever you want it. Mr. Elizondo, it's good to have you again. What's your guess on this? I mean, look, the good news is you see a lot of navigation lights on these things. You see red and greens on a lot of these, which, as you know, are familiar lighting that people put on drones over a certain size. What's your guess as to why there's so many over Jersey all of a sudden?
Well, Chris, surprisingly enough, it's not just over Jersey. Recently, over a few weeks ago, we had a very similar issue over Langley Air Force Base, one of our most sensitive military installations. And frankly, if you look back the last 4 or 5 years, there was actually a very similar occurrence back in Colorado, where for weeks, local and state law enforcement officials were chasing these things in the skies, almost doing a racetrack pattern, and no one seemed to know what the heck was going on. Actually, this is one of the very reasons why I decided to testify before Congress a few weeks ago, because quite frankly, we don't really have control of our U.S. airspace. We don't have awareness of what are in our skies.
Wow, that's frightening. And again, remember, these have been spotted in the United Kingdom over Air Force bases there as well. So you've got Langley Air Force, you got the United Kingdom Air Force bases. Now you've got them in New Jersey, you got them in Philadelphia, you got them in New York. And that assessment he just made right there, that we don't have controls over our skies. Wow.
Do you believe that the FBI has been looking for a month and doesn't have any answer about what these are when there's so many?
Well, I've worked with the FBI in the past, and they tend to be very, very competent when they're doing investigations. I do believe they have some answers. I don't think they have all the answers yet. What further makes this more complicated, you have an issue where these things are being seen over civilian airspace, so you have jurisdictional issues, right? You have, from a federal perspective, you have FBI leading the law enforcement investigation, but you also have the Department of Defense. You have folks like the U.S. Air Force and Office of Special Investigations. You have DHS and even the FAA. And so all these federal agencies, forget about even the state and local agencies, are trying to work together and try to deconflict what's in the skies. And unfortunately, they just don't seem to have a common operating picture right now of exactly what we're dealing with.
You think they're wrong about the size? Because, you know, it's not easy to find drones of any significant size on the commercial market.
Yeah, so here's the problem, Chris. Great point. We know that commercial drones tend to be a typical size, and they use a certain amount of power, if you will, and have a certain amount of loiter time, a certain amount of range. And typically can be anywhere between 15, maybe 20 minutes if you're lucky. And then you have to have line of sight in order to control these things. If you talk about anything bigger than that, you're really talking about a state-sponsored capability. This isn't a hobbyist. This isn't a drone that someone buys, let's say, from Radio Shack or buys from Amazon. This is something far more complex that can be flown beyond line of sight, i.e. over the horizon, and has a loiter capability in some cases of several hours. And if you're talking about an SUV size or larger potentially drone, this is a problem. Look, the U.S. Navy has been reporting these types of drones, in some cases the size of cars and even bigger, for years now. And this is exactly emphasizing the point why we need to take this topic seriously.
Wow, did you hear that? So again, state-sponsored type of drones because of their capabilities, their longevity in flight, their navigation abilities. This, again, like we said, the mystery of this thickens. Look at this headline. FBI has no answers to the mystery drone swarming skies with 500,000 Americans terrified. Here's a piece from Michael Snyder. Quote, "Are we being invaded? Mysterious drone clusters have been hovering over New Jersey, New York, and Philadelphia." I'm going to read this little paragraph. Again, this is from Michael Snyder from themostimportantnews.com. Why have groups of large unidentified mystery drones been flying over New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania at night? Some of the mystery drones are the size of a car, but government officials seem to have, quote, no idea what they are or where they came from. Since this has been happening on a nightly basis since the middle of November, you would think that most advanced military in the world would have been able to get a really good look at these mysterious drones by now, but that hasn't happened. In fact, there have been unconfirmed reports that when our aircraft approach these drones, again, like we said earlier, they simply go dark and disappear. All right, look at this. More than a dozen drones followed a 47-foot Coast Guard boat just Sunday night, while law enforcement tracked another 50 drones coming onto land from the ocean at Island State Park, according to Representative Chris Smith. And here's the headline. 50 drones came in from the ocean, and at least a dozen trailed a Coast Guard ship. Wow. Christopher Smith said during the hearing and an interview on Fox News that he went drone hunting at Island Beach State Park on Monday with Ocean County Sheriff Michael Mastronardi. He said that they went on to the beach because the night before, a law enforcement officer had counted 50 drones coming in from the ocean onto land. Now, this is interesting. Coming in from the ocean onto the land. So are these coming from an aircraft carrier? That's what we need. Like he said, we need to follow these back to their central location. Where are they coming from? So are these being launched from an undisclosed location in the ocean from an aircraft carrier? That's what it sounds like here. In addition, he said that he was told by a Coast Guard official that one of their 47-foot ships in the ocean was trailed by 12 to 30 drones. Imagine how terrifying that would be. And he said, quote, "I think this is a very serious threat." All right, then I found this article. This is interesting. Chinese national arrested after, quote, drone flown over U.S. airbase. Uh-oh. Well, now, isn't that interesting? The aircraft said to have taken photographs on the same day as SpaceX rocket launched with sensitive payload. Now, according to the report, a Chinese national, we talked about this the last time we talked about this very topic, has been arrested on suspicion of flying a drone to take photographs over a U.S. Space Force base. Federal police arrested this individual on Monday after he was allegedly caught flying a drone over the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. In a criminal complaint, the U.S. Attorney's Office said Mr. Zhu flew a drone over the base and took photographs on the 30th of November, the same day it launched a rocket on behalf of the National Reconnaissance Office. He has been accused of, quote, violating national defense aerospace and of failing to register an aircraft as required under U.S. law. The incident was the latest in a series of unauthorized drone sightings over U.S. air bases, including 2 in the United Kingdom last month. The drone was allegedly in the air for 59 minutes and took photographs of SpaceX rocket pads and other sensitive areas. The flight was picked up by the base's security team, who traced Mr. Zhou to the nearby Ocean Park, where he was standing with another man. All right, so now here's an incident where a drone was flying over a sensitive area, taking photographs illegally. And our officials followed the trail of this drone back to the perpetrator, in which he was arrested. But on the incident of all these mysterious drones over New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and the one at Langley Air Force Base, and the ones in the United Kingdom, no repercussions done, no follow-up from the military, and complete dark and silence from all major federal agencies. That leads me to either 2 conclusions. Either A, which is the likelihood that this is being carried out by our U.S. government. Now, as far as the United Kingdom, that kind of deepens the mystery a little bit, but it could be the United Kingdom's government. Are our own government agencies carrying out these espionage missions? Now, why are they doing this? I don't know. Is it nefarious reasons? I don't know. That's why I said I believe something big is on the horizon. Why are they doing this? Why are they scanning the skies? Why are they doing this night after night after night after night for over a month? What intelligence are they picking up? What information are they gathering? Okay, so either A, it's our own government doing this, and that would give the credence of why there's no response from these agencies and they're dark. That makes sense. Or, and then again, now this is a far darker side to this, that this is a coordinated effort of a turn blind eye to a literal invasion by a foreign adversary on our own soil that is prepping and preparing for an attack, aka false flag attack on our own land. Now, I know that sounds very sinister and very nefarious, but again, would it be surprising to anyone if such an event was to take place? Or do you actually think that couldn't happen? So I would love your thoughts, guys, in the chat. Let us know in the comment section below, in the chat, either live when this is being aired for the first time, or when you come on to the rebroadcast of this. Let us know your thoughts on this. Who do you think's behind this and why? We'd love to hear from you. So listen, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. Again, be sure to pick up our free app. It's available on app on Android devices. Go to your Play Store, pick it up today, hit yes to push notifications. If you're watching this by the visual of Rumble or YouTube, in the description of this video, it's going to say download our free app. You can download it right there. There's going to be a link right there, and you can pick up our app that way as well. And of course, guys, if this ministry blesses you, encourages you, equips you, we would love for you guys to pray about becoming a monthly partner. And you can do that two different ways. You can give electronically through the app, through the main website, and there's multiple different ways to do that electronically, or you can give by check or money order. You can give the End Time Headlines, P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia, 30655. So guys, we're going to sign off for today. We will be back here tomorrow on Thursday, December 12th with another great podcast. So until then, I pray the Lord bless you, may He keep you, and may His countenance shine upon you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.